A captain's coup: the rise of Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré's story is unusual. He's young, even for a president. At 34, he seized power in Burkina Faso. This wasn't his first rodeo. Traoré was part of a previous coup just 8 months earlier. That one installed Paul-Henri Damiba, a military officer. But Traoré and others felt Damiba wasn't doing enough. The country was struggling with jihadist groups. The violence was getting worse. Traoré decided to take charge. He launched a coup in September 2022. Just like that, Burkina Faso had a new leader. Traoré's rise was swift. He wasn't a high-ranking officer, he was a captain, but he had support. The army, frustrated with the ongoing violence, rallied behind him. They were tired of seeing their country suffer. They believed Traoré could bring change. He promised to prioritize security. He vowed to fight the insurgents. His message resonated with the people, especially the youth. Traoré's background played a role in his ascent. He wasn't a career politician, he had combat experience. He understood the realities of the insurgency. This made him relatable to many. People saw him as a man of action, not just words. He represented a break from the old guard. To some, he symbolized hope for a better future. But his sudden rise also raised concerns. Could a young captain handle the complexities of governing? Would he be able to unite a divided nation? Only time would tell what Traoré's leadership would bring. One thing was clear though. Burkina Faso was entering a new era. An era defined by a young leader with a bold vision. An era full of both promise and uncertainty. Challenging the old guard: Traoré's anti-imperialist stance. Ibrahim Traoré didn't waste time making his mark. He had a clear enemy in mind: imperialism. He saw France, the former colonial power, as a problem. France still had a military presence in Burkina Faso. Traoré saw this as an unwelcome holdover from colonial times. He believed it undermined Burkina Faso's sovereignty, so he made a bold move. He expelled French troops. This sent shockwaves through the region. It was a clear message. Burkina Faso wouldn't be pushed around. Traoré wasn't afraid to stand up to former colonizers. He wanted to chart a new course for his country. Traoré's anti-imperialist stance resonated with many. They saw it as a long overdue act of defiance. For decades, France had maintained significant influence in its former colonies. Many felt this neo-colonial relationship was holding Africa back. Traoré's actions inspired hope for genuine independence. He didn't stop with expelling French troops, he also ended military cooperation with France. This was a major shift in foreign policy. It signaled a break from the West. Instead, Traoré looked east. He strengthened ties with Russia. He saw Russia as a potential ally in his fight against terrorism. A nation in crisis: domestic challenges under Traoré's rule. While Ibrahim Traoré projected strength on the international stage, he faced a mountain of problems at home. The very reason he took power, the jihadist insurgency, was spiraling out of control. Groups linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIS were gaining ground. They were terrorizing communities and expanding their control. The violence was relentless. Attacks on villages were commonplace. People were living in fear. The army, despite Traoré's efforts, seemed unable to contain the threat. The situation was dire. The insurgency was tearing the country apart. The violence had a devastating impact on the economy. Farmers were driven from their land. Trade routes were disrupted. Tourism, a once promising sector, collapsed. Poverty was on the rise. People were struggling to survive. Traoré's government seemed overwhelmed. They lacked resources. They were caught in a vicious cycle of violence and instability. The situation in Burkina Faso was a stark reminder of the complex challenges facing the Sahel region. Section 4. The Iron Fist: Militarization and Human Rights in Burkina Faso. Faced with a growing insurgency, Ibrahim Traoré resorted to a heavy hand. He believed that force was the only language the insurgents understood. He ramped up military operations. He increased the size of the army. He called on civilians to take up arms. Traoré created a volunteer militia, the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland, or VDP. These were ordinary citizens, armed and given basic training. They were tasked with defending their communities. The VDP quickly grew in size. Thousands joined, motivated by patriotism and a desire to protect their homes. However, the militarization of Burkina Faso came at a cost. Human rights groups reported a surge in abuses. The VDP, often lacking proper training and oversight, were implicated in extrajudicial killings, torture, and arbitrary detentions. Entire communities were accused of supporting the insurgents. Collective punishments became common. The government crackdown on dissent further eroded human rights. Journalists were intimidated and censored. Activists were arrested. Protests were banned. Traoré seemed determined to silence any opposition. His rule, once seen as a beacon of hope, was taking a dark turn. Section 5. A Legacy in the Making: Traoré's Impact on Africa's Future. Ibrahim Traoré is a walking contradiction. He is a young leader who inspires hope and fear in equal measure. His defiance of former colonial powers resonates with many across Africa. He is seen as a symbol of Pan-Africanism, a movement for African unity and self-reliance. His supporters draw parallels between him and Thomas Sankara, a revolutionary leader who ruled Burkina Faso in the 1980s. Like Sankara, Traoré is a military man who came to power through a coup. Like Sankara, he champions Pan-Africanism and challenges Western influence. But the comparisons to Sankara are also a burden. Sankara's rule, while transformative, was also marked by authoritarianism and human rights abuses. Traoré seems to be following a similar path. His heavy-handed tactics and crackdown on dissent raise concerns about his commitment to democracy. Traoré's legacy is still being written. He has the potential to be remembered as a liberator who freed his country from foreign influence. Or he could be remembered as another strong man who traded one form of oppression for another. Only time will tell which path he chooses. One thing is certain, Ibrahim Traoré has captured the attention of Africa and the world. His actions will have a lasting impact on Burkina Faso and beyond.